Hello. Well, today I've got a job to do, so I'm going to share it with you. I am currently working on some table names for a wedding that's coming up. And have a look at these illustrations. See if you can guess what Mr. and Mrs. will be called. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Bean. When they get married, they're going to be Mr. and Mrs. Bean. His name is Kyle Bean, and her name's Catherine. And after their nuptials, they'll be known as Mr. and Mrs. Bean. So they wanted their table decorations to be revolving around the names of beans. So we've got jelly, baked, runner, green, coffee, and kidney. And as you can see here, I'll share this with you. I drew this with inks and watercolour, slightly larger, and I've printed it out so that I can do a template, so that I've done each of these on a template. The larger table decoration, I've done a big table plan, which I won't share with you today because it hasn't got the names on it, but I'm going to be doing all the names in calligraphy. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. I've often talked about the different nibs that you can get on calligraphy pens. Obviously, in olden times, when you look at metal nibs, it's easy to tell visually straight away which is thicker and which is thinner. But in this case here, you can see I've got this one here is thinner and this one here is thicker. It's pretty straightforward to tell straight away. However, when you start writing with them, there's a noticeable difference. So I've got a couple of post-it notes here. This is the thinner one, and this is the thicker one. And straight away you can see I'm going to get a thicker downstroke on that one. Now, I have been a bit undecided about which one to use for the table signs, mainly because the table signs themselves have got to be visible when people are looking around a room looking for where they're going to sit at a wedding. So I'm conscious of that, and I think that whenever you do stuff like this, you should think about how readable it is from a distance, or whether it needs to be intricate and something that somebody peers at, like a gift tag, looks more closely at. So in this particular case, I think I'm going to use the thicker of the two, and doing this kind of wavy line before I actually do the sign itself is really good for warming up. It also tells me that there's a slight jitter here on this particular nib. So what I'm going to do is get a piece of paper and I'm going to just gently wipe it like that and twist it a bit just to clean it up. These are felt pens, so of course they won't last forever, but there's no reason why they won't serve you for as long as you need them if you look after them. So I better cap that, actually. That's terrible of me. Okay, so which one shall we start with? I think baked bean. You're probably going to say to me, hey, where's the pencil lines here? Well, how come you haven't mapped out how you're going to write this? Well, there's another way of doing that, which you will know if you're no stranger to my channel, in that if I use a piece of paper and I fold it to exactly the shape that I'm going to fill, and I practice it first, I shall know exactly what it looks like. I've got a little bean there. Okay. So also, each of these signs is going to have the word bean on it. So I'm going to try and make sure that they're pretty similar. Just for uniformity. Although that said, they're not going to be viewed all in a row. They're going to be spread out around a room, in fact. So they don't have to be identical. You can take your pressure off yourself in times like this, because people are just going to be in a really great mood. They're going to really appreciate the art that's gone into it. Now you can see here, I've got a bit of a jitter here going on. So I'm just going to get my fine liner out and tidy that up. Yes, even on the practice, because I want to make sure that it's going to look good. Okay, so baked bean is going to go in that space there. So it's time to do it for real, folks. Woohoo! Okay, another thing to note is that this paper here is very smooth, and this paper here is slightly rough. So I'm going to get a different result either way. Do a few warm-ups there. Okay. Now, you might notice, by the way, that these are hand done. So I really hope I'm not going to mess this up. So join me as the pressure mounts. Creaky chair. Okay, here we go. I'm doing a bit of breathing. I'm not going to talk while I do this because you can see it's not identical. Some people might ask me, does the bees need to be in a certain place, etc., etc.? No, I don't think so. I'm also probably going to add some gems to this as well. You can see it's not identical. I'm going to add some gems to this to make it sparkle a bit. You know that I'm sort of a big fan of that because I think it just accelerates the work beyond just some beyond the writing on the page, and it just gives another point of focus to the work so that you're not just focusing on whether or not you've done your K properly or whether your B's are similar. It's really irrelevant. People will appreciate that these are hand done, and I'm hoping the couple will keep them forever as well, because it'd be a brilliant keepsake from the wedding instead of just table numbers that they bought. Okay, there you go. Oh. Okay, so I might add some gems later. I'm going to do the whole set first before I do. Watch out on my next post and I will share with you how all of them look. And then ultimately I will take pictures of them when they're in situ on the tables. Not long to wait now. And share those with you too. I hope this has inspired you, that it's not that hard to do something like this. Look, I only had to write 2 words and the effect of that at a wedding is going to be immense.